What's poppin', Goblins? I hit that big green release button on Steam, but when I went to put it out, it wasn't exactly in a very finished state, and still isn't. But I've been having a ton of fun, and I want to keep working on it, so I am working on a more major update now while I patch things in the game. I did release a patch that fixed some of the issues, mostly adding sound effects where there were almost none, but also fixing some textures to be better and some better AI for the guards, which I really don't like, to be honest. They're kind of just there because I needed enemies, and they're not very good or complex obstacles. They just kind of exist, which is why there aren't many in the game. I didn't really bother putting too many out there because they just weren't interesting to fight. Which is why I want to overhaul them in the future. I want like sound effects for their voices, stuff like that. My other major focus has become the size of the game. The general play time to beat is pretty low, and there isn't a whole lot to explore anyway that isn't just the main path, which is very short, but I don't want to constantly change how you beat the game, so I think I'm just going to add more optional stuff as I go along. I really like making these interconnected worlds and ways to get back to the main area. So I just like to add more places to go and just eventually come back onto, have everything come back onto itself, kind of overlap, it's just like an ever-growing puzzle almost, which makes it sound more extravagant than it is. Goblins have always been good at that. I think the major focus I've had with this is just exploring weird shit, and I'd like to have more of that because it's less on that too. It kind of got bigger and out of hand, and I didn't know what else to add to it. I like the arms. I want to make those more important. Now that I've put the patch out, I'll be focusing more on a larger update. The major function of the update is lore. I want there to be more for the player to find and speculate on, as well as just outright world building. So far it's just been mostly adding more ways to explore, so I can add more things to find and pace it out. I'd like to give more depth to what's already there, and if I don't before I add more stuff, it's just going to become harder for me to go back and fix things up that I've already added. I think it also needs more goblin related things and a more cohesive center around the goblin aspect. I have a lot of concepts that I've come up with over the years relating to this subject that I haven't really had a way to flesh out, and I feel like this is a good opportunity to making a game. But more than anything, I'm going to have to find time to do all this, and also motivation, and that's where motivation comes in. The motivation I've got to do all this kind of came out of nowhere. I was genuinely considering just being done making games. I've spent the last few years doing it and kept restarting over and over and never putting anything out, mostly just out of the thought that no one would want to play it, or that I wasn't good enough, or that this isn't what I need to be working on. I need to be working on something else. So I was genuinely considering quitting and focusing on like life issues and important stuff, but and so that's when I started making this. I started working on this. I was like, I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to put this out there. This is going to be released, and that's when the weirdest thing happened. I got a Discord message, and someone invited me to a Discord with is like a little group of people that have speedrun the game and beaten it already. I put it out on itch.io, and I was almost going to call it there. I was like, you know what? I put the game out. It doesn't need to go on Steam. I'll just throw it there and be done updating it. It's not even close to finish. So I almost called it there. But then I got that message, and they did shit like this. That's insane. I didn't even know you could do the stuff they were doing in it. And they had all these explanations. They had a section for adding skips and technical exploits and things like that. And I was like, man, that's insane. It was a feeling I'd never felt before. And to say I was flattered is an understatement. I was kind of speechless for a while, and I'm still a bit shocked. But more than anything, this motivated me more than I've ever been motivated before, just because people play it like. So I do want to work on this game more, and now I'm also motivated. I want to go back to some other projects I've done, and so now I'm kind of juggling it in my head. I'm like, do I need to keep working on this game, or do I need to like go back to other projects that aren't as scuffed and broke as hell? One I've been working on for a while. I don't want to reveal too much. I kind of said that all Goblin was like becoming a kind of dream project, but in all reality, like, yeah, it is. It's a dream that I'm working on, and like turned into way more of a project than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be like a 3 or 4 room game where you just like loop around on the same rooms, but it kind of turned into like a little bit bigger. It's not like huge, but a few extra places to go. But in reality, I do have a dream project that I have been working on for a while, and without revealing too much, I really think it's a very interesting concept. It's like a mashup of concepts, which I know is not that crazy, but I do like the idea, and I've got a like concept up and going. I don't want to reveal too much, because if I did make this, I'd want to do it right. I want to figure out how to work with other people on these kinds of projects so that I can make this game how I'd want to make it. But I am working on it on the side too, and now I'm juggling these two. I'm like, man, which one do I work on? And I'd like to get it to a point where I can show people soon, but for now you just have my whimsical dreams. But I do want to get it to a very playable state, and then maybe upload it to Steam too at some point, probably as a free demo for a very long time, until I get it working, until I get more things in it so that it's like there's things to do other than just walk in and out of portals, which is the main thing. It's got to do with portals and dimensions. That's all I'll say for now. But it kind of evolved from an earlier idea of opening dimensions to like search them for a creature and capture it. Yeah, I mean, all Goblin, ideally I'd like for this one to be like a dream project I work on my own, and then this other one, I wouldn't mind getting other people involved. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how, running a project with multiple people, or even just like getting people to work on certain things works. I've never done it before, at least not really, aside from like friends helping out with small things. But that's how it be right now in the Goblin brain. Anyways, so if this sounded interesting to you, cool. Let me know if like any of this sounded interesting, if anything I said made any sense. I think I'm just going kind of loopy. I think I'm just kind of losing it. I haven't really left this room for like quite a while. I got this. You want to see this? Look at this thing. Oh, check this out. It's a gorilla lamp. There we go. Look at that. That's crazy, right? For like a few years now, I've been creating stuff, but like it's been really hard finding like a niche, or like what I even wanted to do. Like I'd sit down for hours and I'd sit there and just stare and be like, man, I don't even know what to do. Like I have this blank canvas or something. I mean, even filled. I have a filled canvas and I still do it. I open up Unity and I sit there and I'm like, I don't know what else to do, But I feel like I'm finally starting to get it a little bit. Anyways, so if any of this sounded interesting, cool, let me know. Love you, Goblins. Give me a little smooch. Give me a little kiss. Give me a little... These nuts.